Welcome to the newest upload schedule. We're going to trial it for about a month, and if it does what I think it could do, then this will be really good for the channel, the community, and just the content overall. Today's video is a little different. I asked in yesterday's video if you guys were interested in a video to do with ancient civilizations, and I actually had a few comments and messages saying that you guys would want to see that. So today we are watching the 25 most mysterious monuments on Earth. If you like the video, and comment whether you like this sort of style of video as well, because I really love this stuff, but it's not for everyone. But I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Tauropia. New channel. Let's go. Bro, this stuff just makes me... I don't even know what the word is. Like overwhelmed, I guess.
The most mysterious monuments on Earth wow visitors and continue to befuddle seasoned researchers. These monuments are some of the most spectacular...
Before we carry on, for anyone that doesn't have any sort of care or interest in this sort of stuff, all I want you to do while watching this is just think, this is like thousands and sometimes tens of thousands of years ago. Like 100 years ago, we weren't able to do this. So think about how they were able to do this 1,000, tens of thousands of years ago. Let's carry on.
Destinations on Earth, providing a glimpse into the past of civilizations that rivaled the greatest in history. However, these societies created ceremonial burial grounds and temples that defy what was common at the time. Great stone creations that weighed dozens of tons aligned perfectly with the stars. How could they have done this?
Just unbelievable.
Who built these structures? Here's a look at the most mysterious monuments in the world.
That's not far from me, Stonehenge.
Number 25.
I might not be talking a lot during this. I'll just be taking it all in. One thing I will say is I'm going to Cairo in Egypt next year, maybe January, February time, and I'm going to be taking you guys with me. So I really hope you like these sort of videos because I'm probably going to do a bit more of it.
Pyramid of Djoser, Egypt. Built during the 3rd dynasty of ancient Egypt, the Pyramid of Djoser is the oldest structure of its kind in the world. It's the original Egyptian pyramid that represented a thorough advance in the possibilities of engineering and architecture. Within the pyramid, which is the resting place of Pharaoh Djoser.
Mate, just look at that. Bro, how
an expansive system
high is
of
that?
passageways. You can still explore these today, some 4,000 years after it was originally constructed. What you see today, however, is a rejuvenation of the original. The Pyramid of Djoser lay ravaged by wind and time for centuries.
I really hope this music's not copyright, because this could do over the entire video.
Number 24. Persepolis, Iran. Once the capital of Persia, Persepolis is now what is left of the once thriving city. Persepolis thrived for centuries up until 330 BC, when
people handcrafted this. This is what I don't get. Like a lot of this, it kind of drives me a bit insane because I tried to piece in my head how people have done this. Because look at the detail. It just doesn't make sense.
Alexander the Great sacked the city. Today, the sprawling terrace complex tells a story over 2,000 years old. Once home to the King of Kings, visitors can wander by a series of royal palaces that stood upon an elevated terrace. At its height, there was never the need for fortified walls, as 10,000 guards stood watch at any given time.
I don't get it. Do you know what? I have got a wish in life and with YouTube and all that sort of stuff. I do not do all that manifestation stuff. However, I'd like to get to the point where the channel is doing well enough that I can afford to go to all these different places around the world and make videos on them. I'm going to put it out there now. That is going to happen.
Number 23.
Jesus.
Valsay, Greenland. Built around the turn of the 14th century, Valsay's ruins stand on the southern coast of Greenland. Centuries before Columbus made his famous journey west, Norse Vikings had completed a similar trip, building one of the original Christian churches on the North American continent. The church is at the center of the Norse movement that saw many migrate from Iceland to the fertile soils that existed steps from the stunning Greenlandic fjords. It boasts walls as high as 6 meters and was a prominent gathering spot for the Norse people.
It's just unreal. Part of the reason why I like this as well is because for years we thought that the earliest pyramid building was 4,500 years old, which is the Great Pyramid of Giza. Their argument was that it couldn't be any older because there wasn't any other structure or megalith around the world or nearby that is older. And then they found something called Göbekli Tepe, which is 11,600 years old. It's like mind-blowing. So like everything we thought that we knew could just all be incorrect. It's crazy. I really hope you guys are interested in this, otherwise this is going to be very boring for you.
Number 22. Derinkuyu Underground City, Turkey.
This is
At its
mental.
height, the Derinkuyu underground city in Turkey had a population in excess of 20,000 people. This thriving ancient subterranean city existed some 85 meters beneath the spectacular fairy chimneys of Cappadocia. Understandably hidden for centuries, Derinkuyu, once known as Elengubu, features 18 levels of tunnels that could hold a substantial number of people. It's the largest city of its kind and was in consistent use for thousands of years up until the 1920s. More spellbinding are the separate tunnels that have since been discovered. These link Derinkuyu to a number of smaller...
Mental. Look, they even have holes for oxygen. Like, this is thousands of years ago. Like, how do they know this?
underground cities in the region.
It blows my mind, honestly. I'm pretty sure that this housed like 20,000+ people as well.
Number 21.
Like, how? 85 meters
Hejra,
underground.
Saudi Arabia. As the first UNESCO World Heritage Site in Saudi Arabia, Hejra holds high esteem. The archaeological site is the largest of its kind that once belonged to the Nabatean people outside of Petra. Like Petra, the civilization was cut into rock, this time sandstone. Discoveries included well-preserved monuments and tombs that unveil an ancient society at its zenith. Hejra displays a range of architectural values etched deep into the sandstone, from Phoenician to Hellenistic. In addition, petroglyphs showcase a variety of languages, including Greek and Latin.
Mate, this... Sorry, I keep pausing it, but that's not built into the rock. That is carved from the rock. Like, I make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. For those that are interested, there's a guy called Graham Hancock who has a series on Netflix called Ancient Apocalypse. He has 2 series currently. First season has, I think, 8 episodes. The second one has 6. But if you're into this sort of stuff, then I promise you will love that. I've probably ingested about 40 to 50 hours of this Graham Hancock's work now, and it is unbelievable. Go watch it and let me know what you think.
Number 20. Newgrange, Ireland. According to Irish traditions, Newgrange is the home of the Dagda, a group of supernatural beings that once called ancient Ireland home. There is some truth to this, with Newgrange being linked to some of the country's earliest inhabitants. Yet the true builders of the awe-inspiring structure, which is the home of a spectacular light show each December,
My
remains
God.
unknown.
I've never even
What
heard of
is
this
for
before.
certain is that the tomb is so ancient that it predates the Egyptian pyramids by some 6 centuries.
It's just mental. It's like the Teletubby house.
Number 19. Banti Sari, Cambodia. Dedicated to the Hindu god Shiva, Banti Sari is a 10th century temple not far from the famous Angkor Wat in Cambodia. Banti Sari is about 25 kilometers away from the main core of Angkor temples, and because of its diminutive size, has created fascination among archaeologists. Compared to other regional temples, Banti Sari was made much smaller, almost
Right, let me go back very slightly. One second.
compared to other regional temples.
Right, with the cursor you can see, look at this here, yeah? That alone had to be elevated, and I mean, for size you can't really tell, but it could be anything up to a ton, 2 tons, and they lifted that, I don't even know how high that is, like 20 feet off the ground? Like how? I don't get it.
Banti Sari was made much smaller, almost like a miniature version. Interestingly, it was the only major Angkor temple not to be commissioned by the reigning monarch. As the legend goes, it was instead constructed by female artisans, with exquisite carvings being the proof.
Mate, unbelievable.
Number 18. Mohenjo-Daro, Pakistan.
Seen this.
Constructed
Unreal.
around 2500 BC, Mohenjo-Daro was once the largest city in the historic Indus Valley. Once a major worldwide city, Mohenjo-Daro flourished until 1700 BC. The former metropolis remained undiscovered until the 1920s, more than 3,500 years later. Major excavation began in earnest, uncovering a marvelous Buddhist stupa, while a seemingly insignificant flint scraper gave researchers an idea of how old the city was. Impressively, Mohenjo-Daro was designed with a grid layout, with public buildings such as public baths and assembly halls giving proof of a sophisticated society.
How do you build this with such precision? That many years ago.
Number 17. Machu Picchu, Peru.
Unreal.
Set on a mountain ridge 2,400 meters above sea level, Machu Picchu is an iconic estate of the Inca Empire. The lost city of the Incas was built in the 15th century, high above the sacred valley. Despite becoming such a famous destination, little is known about the founding years of the city. The Incas had no written language, with the city laying abandoned when discovered by the Western world in the 1800s. The layout, use, and inhabitants of Machu Picchu are all educated guesses by archaeologists.
Think how high up that is. Someone had to build that by hand, or what we can only assume was by hand. And 2,400 meters above sea level. I feel like I'm just repeating what they're saying, but I just find this like unbelievable.
Number 16. Baalbek, Lebanon. It's likely the city of Baalbek has been inhabited since 9000 BC. This impressive ancient city has seen it all, from humble beginnings as an agricultural town to becoming one of the most important holy sites in the region. From an architectural standpoint, it was the Romans who created a lasting
Again,
impact.
this stuff was built
They
by hand.
constructed the Temple
Like, just
of
remember
Artemis
that when
and the
you're
Temple
watching
of
this.
Jupiter, which are both staggering temples and among the largest in the Roman Empire. The major mystery surrounds the creation and movement of the Baalbek stones, which are thousands of years old.
I honestly cannot wait to see this stuff with my own eyes. I really, really cannot wait.
Number 15. Palenque, Mexico. One of the most iconic Mayan sites, Palenque harbors some of Mexico's top archaeological treasures. Once the home of a powerful city-state, Palenque lies in ruins, yet continues to be an amazing source into the past. While other Mayan sites may be larger or older, Palenque continues to intrigue visitors and researchers alike. The complex is as old as 800 years, but much of its known history is traced to the Classic period. The site features inventive architecture, a rather naturalistic sculpture, and, most important, incredibly detailed epigraphy.
Oh, God. Again, this was built by hand.
Number 14. Prambanan Temple, Indonesia. Near Yogyakarta, the 10th century Prambanan Temple
I've never
is a
even
symbol
seen this
of
before.
both grace and complexity. Arguably the most striking Hindu temple in Indonesia, the Prambanan Temple is an ode to 3 Hindu gods. The expensive complex features 3 main temples. The 2 smaller buildings are dedicated to Vishnu, the sustainer, and Brahma, the creator. But at its heart is the staggering Shiva Temple. It's a temple visible from a great distance, and one that was overtaken by nature
Don't
after the fall of
understand.
Java
Look at it.
before being rediscovered in the 18th century.
The symmetry as well in the carvings. Like,
Number 13. Mausoleum of the First Qin Emperor, China. Sitting undiscovered until the 1970s, the Mausoleum of the First Qin Emperor is a still evolving archaeological site. Qin was the first emperor to unite China around 200 BC. He is
you may have
buried
seen that
here
before.
alongside
I think this
hundreds of
place has been in a
terracotta
lot of
warriors.
movies.
Each warrior is unique, standing as a picture of realism beside their horses, chariots, and chosen weapons. To have stood the test of time and remained in such visible excellence is a testament both to the art and also the prestige and culture of the Qin dynasty.
Imagine how long it would have been to carve one of them. And there's hundreds. it's just insane.
Number 12. Mesa Verde Cliff Dwellings, USA. For 6 centuries, the ancestral Pueblo people lived on the mesa tops in what's now Colorado. But around the 12th century, they created pueblos within the mesa's natural alcoves. They created a cliff-dwelling community with carved homes that varied from a single room to vast villages that featured 150 connected dwellings. All the while, the ancestral pueblos continued to farm above their homes. This community existed for around a century when the local population began moving south into what's now known as Arizona and New Mexico. Number 11.
Oh, what's
Petra,
11?
Jordan.
Unbelievable.
Half built, half carved, Petra, Jordan is known as a rose-red city half as old as time. The startling red rocks were carved to create Petra, which was the center of an Arab kingdom through the Hellenistic and Roman eras. The city dates back thousands of years, yet it was around 300 years BC that it began to flourish thanks to the spice trade. 4 centuries later, the Roman Empire spread into the region, claiming the vital capital, and its fortune continued. Today, having been lost to the world for centuries, Petra is a site that continues to wow.
Imagine being the first person to discover this years later. I don't even know what I'd do. I'd probably pass out.
Visitors. Erected with interlocking joints. Regardless, this unsolved mystery is a must-see.
Again, these weigh like unmeasurable, like tons. And it's elevated off the ground. And also the stones were carried somehow from nearly 250 kilometers away. Like, people think this is normal. Like, everyone just looks at this because it's so old and it's been there and everyone knows what it is or whatever. People are taking this as just normal. This is not normal. Also, I don't know how much you're going to see these monoliths, but all around the world, they have these stone carvings of these people, which I think they think are gods. But they always have their hands, like, if I stood up, you'd understand, but like down by their waist and like this. Always like that. And this is all around the world as well. Like, these people shouldn't have had any interaction. They shouldn't have known about each other. Do you know what I mean? Some of them were thousands of years apart, but these people all have their hands like this. It's so weird.
Ancient temples of Malta is high on the list of those that arrive on the island. Yet, these stunning megalithic temples continue to defy belief, all because we can't work out who constructed them. Built prior to 3000 BC, the temples are arguably the oldest standing on Earth. They predate the famous Stonehenge and the pyramids of Egypt. Across Malta, there are dozens of these fascinating temples. The most popular of the temples are the temples of Hajar-im and Menaidra. However, the oldest temple of them all is Gigantia.
Look how this fits together. I keep saying it, the precision, but like, genuinely, this makes me feel sick, by the way. Like little holes in things. It's apparently a phobia, but I just don't like it. But look, like how they've put everything together so perfectly. Like, we can't even build a house that precise anymore. You know what I mean?
As a way to honor important
Again, look at the hands. They come down here and they're by the waist every single time. Also, the heads that are buried, that people only assumed were heads, they've dug down and they do have full bodies.
clan ancestors,
Some of them are like,
and because of a belief
I don't know what it was. I think for those who don't know, a lot of the pyramids that were built were used as burials and temples and stuff for like kings and gods to be buried in, and emperors and all that sort of stuff. Anyone with sort of a high level of importance. And that's what they presume that the Pyramid of Giza was, or the pyramids of Giza. I think they still think that ish. I think there's like a red flag somewhere. because they didn't find any bodies or any like inscriptions or hieroglyphs that would indicate that it was a burial temple. It's honestly, it blows my mind.
Funerals. Like other great mysteries, it's impressive to wonder how an Iron Age culture could produce these enormous jars before moving them from the quarry to a beautiful and lush plateau. In addition to the jars, you can see historic grave markers, stone discs which are believed to have covered the jars, plus the sprawling quarries. Number 4. Nazca Lines, Peru. The spellbinding Nazca Lines in Peru are one of the world's great mysteries.
No, sure, we're top 5 now.
Lines drawn in straight or geometric patterns showcasing various animal shapes. Still unsolved, it remains a beautiful, head-scratching wonder. There are over 1,100 lines in total, most straight, yet 300 are geometric. At its most lengthy, some lines are almost 50 kilometers long. How and why remain a mystery. Yet, from the sky, it harbors one of the most incredible views you'll experience.
Makes me think of aliens. But, you know, crop circles and stuff. That's literally what it makes me think of. This one low-key looks like a minion.
Number 3.
Top 3.
Great Sphinx, Egypt.
Unreal.
One of the world's most famous sites, the Great Sphinx in Egypt has long been shrouded in mystery. It's a part of the allure, bringing hundreds of thousands to the land of the pharaohs every year. The Sphinx is a mythical creature that boasts the body of a lion yet the head of a human, thought to be the pharaoh Khafre. It faces west across the Giza Plateau with the iconic pyramids settled in the background. The Great Sphinx is 20 meters high and older than any of the pyramids. Archaeologists believe this structure dates beyond 2500 BC, some 4,500 years in the past. Number 2.
Bro, honestly.
Teotihuacan, Mexico. A short distance from Mexico City is the ancient metropolis of Teotihuacan. Now an expansive archaeological site, the remaining pyramids live to tell the tale of a culture 2,000 years old. Those that called Teotihuacan home were a part of the world's biggest city at its height in the 1st century. They were around before the famous Aztecs
Make it make
and constructed
sense.
multiple incredible pyramids. These structures are all that remain.
I really pray that you guys are seeing and understanding why I'm seeing. I mean, I don't even understand it, but what I mean by it is just understanding the passion that I have for this sort of stuff.
Yet they keep alive an ancient culture, its story, and religion. The Aztecs would embark on pilgrimages to visit what was known as the birthplace of the gods.
Mate, you never know. When it comes to doing this stuff, like if I actually get to do this in the future, if I'm in a position where I can, I would love to bring a couple of you guys with me. That would be so good. Imagine doing that. Imagine being able to bring the community with me. That'd be, oh man. Tell you what, to get to the top of that, man, I'm taking at least 10 breaks. I'd have to leave so early because it would take me until nighttime to get up to the top. Wow. Hot air balloons. Really scary. Wouldn't ever go in one. However, I imagine the view of this is
Number
phenomenal.
1. Göbekli Tepe, Turkey.
This place just blows my mind. Like,
Located
absolutely
in
blows my
Southeast
mind.
Turkey, Göbekli Tepe is one of the most remarkable modern archaeological discoveries. Here lies 11,000 years of history and enormous carved stones. At the heart of the discovery is the belief that this spectacular location is home to the world's oldest temple. Visitors will find petroglyphs across giant stone rings and T-shaped pillars that weigh up to 10 tons. Impressively, the megaliths predate the development of agriculture and even the most basic ancient tools. It showcases a community that was far more advanced than any of its peers. To add to this notion, Göbekli Tepe is around 6,000 years older than Stonehenge.
Mate, this was done by human beings. One thing that she hasn't mentioned yet, but there's only 20 seconds left of this video. This was purposely covered up, hidden after, I think like 1,000 years people lived there for or settled there. And also, they've only excavated like a quarter of what is there. There's like so much more that they need to uncover. And they're doing it slowly. I think there was a bit of, they wasn't sure whether they were going to excavate the rest of it, but I think they actually are now. So there's going to be much more to come. Like 11,600 years is what they know of now. It could be way older. Mental. There's a pillar that has these people holding handbags, or what look like handbags, but they are repeated all over the world. Wow. Mate, I pray that you guys enjoy that sort of stuff as much as I do. Maybe not even as much as that, but if you learned something or if you enjoyed it, then hit the like button, please. That sort of stuff is just mind-blowing to me. If you like the video, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one.